Brother Robert Earl Dean, who do we have with us today?
Ladies and gentlemen, you be jamming to the Dorinda Clark Coles and the Twinkie Clarks and the Kim Burrells and so many others, the Crystal Ruckers. And this is the machine behind the sound. This man is a music supervisor. He's a film composer. He's a producer. He's a songwriter. He's a vocal coach and a life coach. But more importantly, he's a child of God.
Ha ta ta ta
Ladies and
ta.
gentlemen, you may not
Yes,
know
I
the
am.
name,
Shabanana.
but you will know after today.
Shubadoo.
This is the
The.
Asaph A. Ward. Welcome to the Wake Up Morning Show with Dr. L.T. and Robert Earl Dean.
Thank you so much, gentlemen. It's so good to be here. Can y'all hear me?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
We can hear you loud and clear.
Awesome. Don't do that because something will come out. I'll say a word.
Come on, share a word. The people need a word. Hallelujah. Man, we're so
Good morning
glad to
to you.
have you with us this morning. Welcome to
Yes.
the Wake Up Morning Show.
Thank you for having me.
Okay, I'm just gonna jump right on.
Jump in it,
I'm gonna
brother.
jump right on in it. Just to start off just right away. You know, we've been having this conversation, but in my spirit, man, I think that the answer is gonna be it was before COVID even happened. But all my brothers seem to be growing beards since the pandemic
Right.
started. I wanted to know if you were pre-pandemic or post-pandemic. When did the beard start growing?
Beard started for me in 2012.
Okay. All right.
I
See,
had I've had this since 2012. It just got to the point to where, I was always in rooms with different kinds of people, and I just got tired of. It's no different than when I shaved my head off.
Mhm.
It's like I had everyone was trying to preserve their hair. I was like, I'm gonna be bald. I'm gonna just go ahead and cut my hair off.
Let it
I'm a
go.
type person. I just like to let nature take its place.
Mhm.
So
well,
I've had it since 2012.
Well, see, that's your beard looks like a mature beard. I've been seeing some of the beards been coming out, and because that they got
What is spotted and blemished?
well, no, they got these thing called lace front beards now, and people are getting beards added, and they get man pieces on their
Top of the
hair
head.
and all the other stuff. I mean, look dope and everything, but I'm just looking for the original bearders. Because I tried.
You tried
But I tried, and in the Spirit of God said
over and
that
over,
is not your
but
ministry.
there is no other way.
Okay, so let me ask you this question. You've been in the industry for many, many years, hit after hit after hit.
Mm-hmm.
How did you start? What was the first introduction into the industry?
Well, there's never a short story, but I'm gonna tell it a fast track way. When I first knew that I wanted to be a producer, I was 15 years old.
Wow.
And I was a musician at age 14. Of course, I played drums my whole life, but once I realized that I had a knack for music, I was 14 years old.
Mm-hmm.
I knew then, as the rest of my friends were saying, I want to travel and go on tour, and oh man, I want to do plays. I want to do this. I'm like this, man. I want to produce records. Like I want to do records. So I knew that at age 15. So, I started my journey doing that. Not taking tours, plays. I was the MD. I was a musical director since age 14.
Mm-hmm.
Vanessa Bell would come into town, Hawkins would come into town, James Moore would come into town, different artists would come into town, and they called me to be over the band. I was 14. I learned at an early age how to be a leader. So once I realized vocals meant something to me, because my mom, Donna Ward, she was a state minister in music, and for 30 plus years, she's in Kansas City. That's where me and Crystal come from.
Yep.
And when she went to be with the Lord, a lot of her dreams and goals that she did not have met, she was smiling towards the end of her days because she knew I was going after mine as a producer.
Yeah.
And she taught me everything. She taught me how to do vibrato. She had me and my brother in the studio stacking background vocals when I was 8 years old.
Wow.
So there's a lot of things I didn't know I was trained on until I got older because
Right.
my parents made me do it. She's one of those ones that'll get up at 2 a.m. and wake us up because she wrote a song and we got to get up. We got school the next morning, but she needs us to sing the harmonies so she can put it down.
Was she Maddie Mouse or Joe Clark?
She was more. She was a niece or something to them.
Okay.
She wasn't Joe,
Right.
but she had some Joe.
Right.
She had some Joe.
Right.
But the difference between Joe and Maddie Mouse Clark is Maddie Mouse Clark actually had the gifts and talents.
Yes.
Joe was more managing. He had that management. He didn't have the product.
Right.
So my mother and father kind of was a mixture of both of them. They did everything they could to make sure me and my brothers and sisters had access to greatness. We're talking about being at a Hawkins concert one day out in the park, and my mom just snuck backstage and took me with her and introduced herself to Ellen Hawkins. She said, "Yes, I'm your new chapter rep in the city."
Wow.
Mm-hmm. She just created a chapter on the spot. My mom was that way. And then he says, "Oh, God, okay, all right." You know how artists is, "Oh, you shocked me. How'd you get back here?"
Right.
So my mom ended up being a chapter rep. He let her do it. And then he came into town and then we got to know them. And then that's how I met Rich Smallwood. See, I'm meeting these people at age 12, I'm learning from the professionals from a young age. So I say that to say, once I decided to produce, by this time, I am 17, 18, messing up people's demos, learning and doing things. And once I was ready in my early 20s, gospel would not trust me. Mm-hmm. They would not trust me. They wouldn't let me do a project. They would love my demos. They would love my songs. They would love what I did and then say, "Man, we love this, but we're going to let such do this. We're going to let such produce it. So they never gave me a shot. And it was very discouraging. So, R&B did. They gave me a shot. Wow. So I started doing R&B, working with rappers and singers. This is back with the Jodeci's, and I got working with Boyz II Men and stuff like that. They all gave me a shot, but I knew it wasn't where I belonged. I was unfulfilled. And once I learned all of my technical savvy on that side, God said, didn't know I was, had a prophetic gift. Didn't know that until much later in life. But I mean, he would speak to me from the beginning and I didn't, I'm just thinking it's my conscience, Right. Mm-hmm. So he said, "You need to go back and I need you to do it for me. Things are going to be different when you get back." And I was just like, I don't know how. And I never forget, I gave up one of my R&B artists that I was producing. I gave up my songs. I decided that I was leaving R&B and I was managing an artist that was doing very well. I never forget, he went platinum as soon as I signed over my management percentage. It was just really crazy how the devil was playing in my mind. But as soon as I got back, that's when I got a call for Kim Burrell. Mm. And it wasn't a call to work on her. It was a call because, Fred Hammond was consulting for Tommy Boy Records. Yeah. And they was signing Kim. And I met Kim one time the year prior at one of my mom's recordings. And I talked to her, gave her some knowledge, told her how it works. And I showed her the studio and, when she was a guest in town, it was just one day.
Right.
I hadn't talked to her in a year. I haven't talked to her in a year since then. And Fred's talking to me about Kim Burrell. And I'm just like, and I didn't know Fred Hammond. I was Stargate. I was fanning out. Like, man, why is Fred Hammond calling me? Oh, wow. And Fred said, "Well, I mean, you're her manager." And I was like, to myself, I'm like, I'm her manager. That don't make sense. And it was funny because we talked about this at Kim Burrell's birthday party this past birthday. But Fred was told that I was Kim Burrell's manager, and Kim Burrell told him that I was her manager. So he called me to do this deal. I played along with it because I just didn't know what was going on. I played along with it, and I called her, and she was
wait a minute. You are very well church trained.
Yes,
because there are a lot of things that happen in the church that we're like, so
he got to be Kojic. He got to be Kojic or Pentecostal because that's how we roll.
Because we ain't gonna tell everybody like, oh really?
Right.
We're gonna play it.
You're gonna go right along with it.
Let the Spirit lead you.
Right.
Okay, I had to say that.
Yeah, but I don't know what made me do that. I know it had to be the Holy Ghost because the truth is, it didn't make sense to me, none of it.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
But then I remember I gave Kim some advice about a prior contract she was in. Mm-hmm. And I'm thinking, well, maybe Kim gave him my name. Maybe he don't know what he's talking about. So anyway, I just played along with it. And I talked to Kim. I said, "What?" She's laughing. She says, "I don't know. I didn't know anybody else to give them. You're the only one I trust right now."
Right.
So what ended up happening is I negotiated her deal with the record label, and got it going. And then they said they was going to let me do 2 songs on her. So I was like, great.
Wow.
So I cut 10 songs so they could pick the 2 out of the 10.
Mm-hmm.
And when the record label people came down, that was Max Siegel and Frank Cooper, I'll never forget.
Mm-hmm.
They came down and they looked at each other like, what is this? And we was like, what's wrong? It's like, we don't even know what this is. Like, what style is this? Like, what is this? Like, and they was like, we don't know what this is. And they said, well, matter of fact, they looked at each other, said, are you thinking what I'm thinking? The other said, yeah. They looked at us both and said, finish all 10 of these songs.
Wow.
And that'll be the album. That's how I got to do the whole Everlasting Life album.
Yeah.
And that album is the album. Once I did that album, gospel trusted me. Because they was like, who's this Ace of War guy? Oh my God, this Kimber, what is this sound? What is this? It was reaching, Earth, Wind and Fire and Prince and Shaka Khan and Whitney and Beyonce. It was reaching everybody, Chick Corea, Yellow Jackets. It was like amazing the reach that it was getting. And then from that point on, gospel just trusted me. I mean, that year I had recorded Dorinda Clark Cole's I'm Still Here album.
Yep.
And then that album went there. Then like 60 albums later, here I am. So,
well, let me just say this. I think they stumbled over your name. I don't think they got it. If you would have been John, they could have said the Baptist. If you was Mark, they could have gave you that. If you was Peter, but let's talk about your name and where it came from, because a lot of folks, sometimes they get struggle on the name. Is he Muslim? Is he this? So let's just talk about the name.
That's true. Okay, well, very simple story. Asaph was, first of all, my parents, I have 3 siblings above me.
Mm-hmm.
So before I was born, my parents was struggling and struggling in some areas. And the story was they were talking about not being together anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And you know how things happen. They got pregnant with me. And Asaph means gatherer. He's a gatherer, and he brings people together. And that's initially why my dad wanted to name me Asaph.
Wow.
My mother wanted to name me Alexander. So they were going back and forth. And the day that I was born, my dad held me, he said, in the labor room, and he saw that I was going to be over music.
Yes.
And then he took gatherer and, the chief musician Asaph in the Bible. He said God showed him that that's what I was going to do and to name me that. Mm-hmm. So he named me because he saw me over music.
And see, now, if they would have read the word, all the ones that didn't trust you, they would have realized that you were supposed to be over music.
Well, some people, I've had someone think I made that up.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you just named yourself. You know how we'll go and say, I'm prophet, I'm apostle,
mm-hmm.
I'm the chief Levite. People named themselves things. They thought I named myself Asaph. And I'm like, no, that's my government name.
But your name has been big for years, because I heard about you from Crystal Rucker's days. I have a friend in Kansas City, Linda Wilson. Her auntie was Brenda Rivette. Used to do all the plays. I had a chance to come down there during my college days in Arkansas, and I was in a play, and your name kept coming up because you did an album with Crystal Rucker that never came out years ago.
Years ago. It was definitely years ago.
So I've known about you.
Wow, you go back. And I remember Brenda Rivette and her sister Linda.
Yes, Linda's mom.
Yes.
And and you were also known from the Kojic world with the Newton brothers. So all I heard about from Kansas City was you, the Newton brothers, and Crystal Rucker. Those were the 3 names in the industry back in them days.
And that's actually the connection, because my mother was their minister of music. Everyone's minister of music that you mentioned. She was the state minister of music over that jurisdiction.
Now I'm just gonna say, my 5 minutes of rumor is that all I knew is that all your artists were pretty. That's
you always got rumors.
That's all I heard. Ace, all his artists is pretty. Even the one we go play today, I said all his artists is pretty.
Well, it's a different day now. When artists truly step inside of who they are and what their brand is, depending on who manages them, which I've never really managed. I managed Kim Burrell for a second,
Right.
and then I managed this artist today that you got to be referring to.
Right.
Artists they got to care about their look. And that's what ended up happening. I've worked on a lot of records and a lot of people's albums, so it's like, I never heard that that rumor. That means you think all the people I've worked with.
Come on.
See, I'm just like saying,
Come on, Prophet. Come on, Prophet. Come on, Prophet.
Watch this. I didn't look at none of the guy groups that you work with. I only looked at the women groups. so
I got you.
So let me ask you this question. I've been in the music industry since I've been 12 years old. Robert's been in the music industry since he's been 4. And, we've seen all the sides, from the Christian side to the gospel side to the secular side. How did you navigate? Because one of the craziest deals is going into some place, and when you finish the deal, they give you an option to either pay you in weed or money. How did you ever have those situations on the secular side?
Well, no, how it works is, you're either strong enough to be needed, or you're at a place that you want it so bad to give into it. So what ends up happening is I was always blessed to be, as they say, great at what I did.
Yes.
So the guys that presented those type of things never presented to me. They wanted my gift. They tried to manipulate me, of course, out of deals and things, but I was never offered these type of things. Let's just be honest. The truth is, once you get in front of it, the spirit that oppresses you to be around it in the first place draws you to it.
Come on.
So I've seen a lot of guys get out there and not come back because it was just available. They just leave it there. You get a check, you're a young person and you ain't never used to seeing thousands of dollars in your pocket at one time. And then women are everywhere.
Yeah.
And then you actually, and then you got to go to clubs. You got to go to strip joints after sessions because you're riding with the person that does that.
Yeah.
It's like, it's always presented to you. Like, when the devil took Christ up to the mountain and tempted him, it's always a tempt. You have to decide to take it or don't take it. I never forget. They called me church boy when I was out there, and they was like, man, you really are loyal. Like, you don't want to do nothing. And I was in those places. I was in the club. I was in the strip joints. I had to go. But what I didn't do is I was afraid of drugs. I was afraid of that stuff. I was like, but guess what? Asaph didn't need it because we need from him. We need him to be right.
Right.
But a lot of guys will do anything to get in. They see everyone's doing drugs right now. I'm going to do drugs because I want my chance. Yeah. So I never had that because, thank God, they saw me as being great at what I did. So that helped me.
So I'm gonna ask this question because this is my every time money get tight around here, I'm like, okay, I'm getting ready to do Big Boys Night at a Cheetahs. That's a running joke because that's the strip club here because where our studios are and everything. Like right down the street, we be like saying, they be like, where are you located? Y'all know where Cheetahs is? They be like, yeah. I'm like, how y'all know about that, right?
Yeah. But that's a great joke.
The funniest thing for me is because I've never been in a strip club. You've never been in a strip club, and I always ask the question for those that have gone there. It just seemed like, I don't know how they can eat in there, and it would just seem like it would be stinky in there.
Your questions. I'm gonna tell you right now, when you're around the spirit of perversion,
come on,
you don't think about those type of things. Look at it this way: you can take a clean situation. If I could say it like this, you could take a clean situation. There used to be days when I was younger, we would go places and I would hear the adults say, this smell like somebody had sex again.
Yeah.
So think about even the cleanest, most honorable situation where you have a married couple, there is a scent. So what happens is when you're around perversion, you know why you're in there. You know what's going on in there, and you're not caring about what it's doing in there. You're not caring about the weed. You're not caring about any foul smells.
Right.
All you look, your eyes and your spirit is being fed. That's all I never forget. Those days were horrible because I remember complaining so bad about being in that place. They was like, man, he don't like this stuff, man. He don't want to be. I said, no, I don't. I don't like it. And these women in here don't like it. You know,
Mhm.
it
Right.
was just something that I thank God. Because I'm gonna be honest with you, it's not about me being holier than thou. It's just that God did not allow me. He didn't allow me to enjoy that,
Right.
Mhm.
because all I had to do was enjoy it, and that was going to be happening all the
It
time
would have
because it
took
was
you over.
available.
It would have took you
You
over.
know, I just happened to not be. I'm a sapiosexual. Let me put it that way. You know, I didn't know that till later that I am stimulated by the intellect. So for me, it's going to take more than some shaking
Right.
to get me in
Okay,
that type of environment.
okay. Hold on.
Plus he was
Wait,
focused on
but we,
what he was focused on.
but wait a minute. Now he done threw, he deep in everything. You are what sexual?
I'm a sapiosexual.
So tell
That is
people
a
what,
word.
people, I know, but I want people to know because he just dropped that in. Everybody like, oh Lord, he said he was a sapiosexual, you know?
Yeah, because they'll come up with whatever. No,
Yeah.
it just means just like what I said. I'm stimulated by the intellect. Like I enjoy conversation.
Hmm.
Yeah, let's just say I'm wonderfully, excitingly, amazingly married now.
Right.
But when I was single, it was always a struggle when women would come at me or say something or throw physically things at me. I never understood why that never really, really worked. As a man, I enjoyed looking,
Hmm.
and it was like, oh man, whew. But I never moved or acted on most of that stuff. So it's kind of like, you know, but a conversation can get me to a chair. It can get me to a room.
Right.
And
Hmm.
then after a good conversation, then you could probably add that other stuff. And
Right.
then you
Hmm.
can kind of get me. I'm just very intellectually stimulated.
And
And that kept me out of a lot of trouble.
and that's really funny because there are a lot of people. I remember back in the '90s when I was in college and everything like that. We used to say that it wasn't about how beautiful you were. If we could not have a conversation, if it was not going to be intellectual, everybody has what you have, but I need more. And so that's just really, really
It's a
important
real
for
thing.
your producers and all of you all out there is that you could be the most beautiful person in the world, but if you don't have anything to say beyond your beauty, then becomes quite boring very
It's
quickly.
sounding brass, tingling cymbal.
Yes, yes, yes. Man, I'm starting to get excited about you coming to San
Oh, he's
Diego
coming,
because
and we're going to shift to that right now. We're
yeah,
going to talk about this wonderful master class that you have been
Hmm.
taking all over the world, and I want people to know about you because yes, you are producing all that good stuff, but you give, you impart into people, and that's very, very important because as an artist, you can be narcissistic and you can always do things for me, but that's not your spirit.
Yes.
Let's talk about your
Yes.
master class.
Well, I mean, in all honesty, I am not. There's two types of people. First of all, I am because I'm an intellectual, and I got a chance. I was so excited. I got a chance to do my a TED talk. It was the last year, which was very fun and good. I am a type of person that likes to understand why things happen.
Hmm.
And I like to come up with solutions of how
mhm,
to help rewire the brain. I deal with the limbic system and in the brain and all of that. So I like understanding things so I can help people get through things. Now, I say that to say
Hmm.
I've learned that there's two types of creatives. There's a fulfilled one and an unfulfilled.
Hmm.
And keep in mind that both have different pairs of glasses. So an unfulfilled person is going to see things through those lenses of being unfulfilled. So they're going to do any and everything to get on platforms, even if it's mistreat somebody, lie on
Wow.
somebody, manipulate somebody, or be jealous of someone because I'm unfulfilled. This person got more likes than I did. This person, they stood up for them, but didn't stand up for me. Those unfulfilled eyes, those lenses are different. So a fulfilled person doesn't look through those lenses. They are more apt to be able to celebrate people. Of course, I have experienced envy where I'll hear something say, "Man, I wish I would have came up with that," but I'm smiling. I'm like, "Man, that's incredible." I'm not jealous. I may feel like I wish, man, that was nice. I wish I would have came up with that.
Right.
But it's not a jealousy. It's not a push. So I'm just saying there's no such thing as a perfect person.
Right.
But being unfulfilled really causes you to make a lot of mistakes. I say that to say I am not unfulfilled. I'm fulfilled. I've done a lot of projects. I've worked with a lot of the greatest singers in the world. I mean, secular and gospel. So for me, it's about what is the next for me? How can I help people? So I noticed that each city, there's so much perversion out there anyway, right? It's a
Mm-hmm.
lot of perversion out in the world, especially after I saw the MTV Awards. There was just a lot going on,
Yes, sir.
and I heard the Lord and Holy Spirit just telling me that what's going to combat against that evil perversion is for the kingdom music, faith-based music, to be able to combat that music. But we are such a lazy musical culture, kind of, because we feel like we're gospel, we can do anything. So I have the charge to go to these cities and try to help pour and educate and train, and I feel like if we can build each city up to be stronger in their craft as a team, we can come up and combat against perversion the right way, instead of one or two artists being great and we just keep celebrating them. Every city deserves the opportunity to build their music community up there so they can help fight the good fight. And guys like me are not touchable. You got to bring us in. You got to pay us to come in.
Yeah.
And a lot of times it's just a workshop.
Right.
And we're going back home. And so God told me to go out and do this masterclass. And he told me if I did it for free, that he would be a blessing to me.
Wow.
And because it's for the people that want it. And you're like, well, man, Asaph, you're Asaph World. Why are you doing it for free? Of course, many has asked that. I asked myself that. But I also know that if you don't come to this masterclass and it was for free, you're not interested in evolving your music career.
You don't want
You
don't want
because money makes us say things. Yeah, I wanted to go to it, but I really, this COVID, I can't really afford it. No, this is no excuse. It's free. It's a 3-hour masterclass. It's free. I'm doing everything. I'm training. I'm talking. I'm doing vocal training. I'm talking about principles to help rewire your brain to get out of that rump of being able to do your music. Everyone is oppressed with their music. They've been giving up. They don't know how to get to the quality of projects that we do because they don't have enough money to pay for a guy like me. I help them get there. And then I got to a point to where, people need access to me after that. Now, I always have services. I have things that I do, but people can't afford, production like on the level that some of us do.
Right.
But I created services that helps, people have access to people like me, without having to spend so much money. And if they choose to want to do something, if they want to further their career and invest in some of the services that I have, then I allow them to do that. But it's not mandatory. It's not something that I force down. And a person that wants to evolve their music will take it seriously. And I just help people get back to the relationship with music. Wow. So that's really what the masterclass is for.
That's amazing.
So let me ask you a question. How many people can be in the masterclass?
Well, this is the thing. It's all different because I'm challenging a mindset. So some cities, right now is definitely between 100 to 250 to 300 people. Okay. As many can come that can come, but different cities are oppressed differently.
Yes.
Like I got some cities, they're struggling. They're late with registration. There's like one in particular, but then I got 3 cities. They're just like, oh my God. They're coming in by the droves. I mean, when Cleveland went online with their registration, it was only 2 days and they was at 60 people. And then I think I need to add more seats. I think I'm sold out of Cleveland now. Cleveland's hungry, and then you got Memphis and then, Milwaukee signed up. And then I got dates for Houston. I got San Antonio. There's Austin. There's Baltimore. Then Philly just reached out to me yesterday. So what it is I'm not going there. I'm going there to build up that music culture there, and I have a certification with my life coaching, which I deal with mental health, learning all the mental health tools. And I bring that to my masterclass because what I'm finding out is most of our blockage with music is mental.
Wow.
So I deal with that.
So I got,
he's coming to San Diego.
Yeah, I already got places in my head for you to be at. But let me ask this question: when you travel, because this is the one thing I always, when you come to San Diego, California, it is, if you live in the United States, you're blessed, and if you live in California, you're doubly blessed. But if you live in San Diego, you're part of the chosen few. So every time someone comes to San Diego, we tell them that this is the chosen few city. And we always say, now, this is the perfect time for you and your wife to, after the master class, to get away and let somebody love on y'all and spoil you. So I would hope once we get our deal on the table with you that you'll bring your wife along with you. Y'all could have a little siesta in the chosen city.
Oh no, she's with me. All that. She's the one reason why it's organized
Mm-hmm.
because this is what she does. She's a beast at what she does. She's an incredible salesperson. She teaches everyone how to move and sell their products online, and she mentors and she coaches. So she's really good at that. So she's the one that helped me organize how it needs to be done. And
Wonderful.
she's the one that encouraged me. She's like, Asaph, I'm telling you, people are going to want access to you after this. You can't just do everybody. So it's like, you got to provide something for people to have access to you ongoing.
Right.
So she's helped me create different tools and services to where people can have access to me even after the master classes. So no, she goes to all of my master classes. So she's going to be there anyway. So
Yes, he came to San Diego for Marquita Knight and them a few years back at St. Stephen's, I believe.
I did. It was a vocal thing. Yes.
Yes.
Yes,
So
I did. A vocal
yes.
training thing.
You think he could help Leonard and the Leonardettes?
That's not. Is that a real name?
No, that's
Can I
him.
make sure?
No, that's his makeup group in his mind. So, but yeah, he can help you because you can play the instrument and you can sing as well. He can help anybody.
Yeah, anybody. Trust me.
Every time somebody come on, I'm like, say, now, you know,
And the
Leonard and the
Leonardettes,
Leonardettes,
right.
We'll do the background for you. And they like, we
Listen.
gonna do that. And I'll be like, pray about it.
Discernment.
So-
We need discernment.
So
Yes.
we're really looking forward to continue to build this relationship. We would love to have you in the city.
He needs to be a part of IGAM. We
Yeah.
started an organization called Independent Gospel Artists Music Matters, where we're teaching independent artists to support each other. Forget the mainstream.
That's important.
Support
Yes.
each other, because if we support each other, there's more independent artists than there are people that are signed to deals now.
So true. No, that's who has been coming to the master classes and they don't have access. See, back in the day, a recording artist was not the label. They didn't have to deal with the business.
Right.
Now there's so much accessibility for people to put records and everything out. These artists are becoming labels, and because money is an issue, most are just doing what they can, and they're just putting things out at the level that they can.
Right.
So it's important to help the independent artist community. This is one of the ways to do it, and deliverance happen. I bring ministry to it too. I mean, my last one, I had to tell some people, it's like, hey, we're going to pray at the end of this. Anybody that would like to stay and pray with us, you all can stay and pray. I had 6 women that stayed with me and my wife and prayed for these 2 other ladies, and they got their breakthrough. We was there 45 minutes after that, just praying. It's not about going there to making money. I want to be blessed, and God said He's going to bless me. And now that He's going to do it, I don't have to worry about nobody doing it.
No.
And that's really the challenge of doing ministry, period. You're counting on people.
Yes.
I don't have to count on people no more. God said, do it, and He's going to bless me. So that's why I'm doing it.
And that's why you're so effective and powerful, because the anointing, you can feel the anointing as you talk, that it's ministry for you. And the gospel side has gotten so commercial and wanting to chart, and we're owned by non-believers, that we've lost what we were founded for. We were founded to minister to people. People would go in cars to revivals, the caravans, and all those people go just seeking to be able to minister. They weren't looking for you to have to give your kidney and a blood transfusion to pay them. It was ministry.
Yes, this is so true.
And
I
believe true. God is taking us back. I think God is taking gospel music back to what it was created for, and that was to lift Him up. He said, if I be lifted up, I would draw all men unto me, and He would pay you in His way.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not easy doing this. I mean, I'm going to be honest with you. I've just been in a relationship. It's going to sound horrible. I've been in church my whole life.
Yes, sir.
But I've just been in a relationship with God for the past 2 years.
Wow.
Before that, I was in a relationship with church.
Come on.
So everything I did was church driven. It was my mom and my dad and,
Yep.
and her parents, and then the pastors and
Mm-hmm.
the people, the expectations of people. And I did it. I did it well. I did church, and I wasn't happy.
Wow.
It wasn't until COVID happened to where everyone was quarantining, and I didn't have no one to quarantine.
Come on, brother.
So it was just me and God, and I got so close to Him. I realized all these years I ain't had a relationship with Him. I prayed. I spoke in tongues. I've been a part of altar call services, and I fasted, and all this stuff. I'm not saying I was a heathen. I'm just saying I didn't know Him. I really wasn't in a relationship with Him until the past 2 years. So everything for me now has to bundle.
Yes.
Jesus has to be in front of it,
Yes.
from my marriage to everything else.
Come on, man.
Jesus has to go everywhere with me.
Come on.
That's just, but He didn't before. That's like, think about it. When you're in sin and you go in places, you don't take Jesus with you.
Yeah, and
so
what's really funny is that before this interview started, we were talking about that, so many times we've been taught how to be church, but we were not taught how to be saved.
And no relationship.
And have that relationship. And, and I tell people all the time, we had that don't ask, don't tell policy. As long as I don't get caught, I'm still in God's good graces, not realize that God's in every place and sees everything. And that's just a really real statement. A lot of people have that strong relationship with the church and the building and the people, but they did not have that relationship with God. So that is what I would say a very mature statement. To be able to say, where are you at in your walk? And COVID was at the time where the world had to stop.
The whole world.
And it was like, God was like saying, if y'all never, ever had the time because you were so busy doing this, I'm going to give everybody 2 years.
Give us another chance.
And then after that, it is what it is. So
yes.
My last thing I'm going to ask you, and I ain't trying to be funny, but I'm going to ask this question. Have anybody ever mixed up you and Warren Campbell?
No, but that's my brother. Me and him are close. We cool. It all depends. We're both dark.
I mean, you look like you could be related to him.
With the shades on, especially.
With the shades on, with the beard, the hat, the whole 9 yards. I was kept on looking up here like, because we see Warren a lot, and I'm like, okay. I said, if I put them two together, boy, y'all must be crazy.
That's my friend. I mean, there was one. I think the most craziest time that I loved me, Warren, and Aaron Lindsay. We all three got asked to come in and work on the commission reunion situation. So we all got a chance to take two of their songs and do it our way.
Right.
And so we was all there together talking about it. But me and Warren, we all go back to 90s, Aaron. Yep. We all go back to, me and Aaron talk about it all the time. We remember when, we was trying to be producers at a young age.
Right.
So we've been doing this a long
time.
Even from a young age. And we've always celebrated one another, so. Yeah, it's amazing.
And that's just the really dope thing, because the two gentlemen that you mentioned are some of the nicest people. And this is my first time actually having the opportunity to talk with you. And I'm like, wow, this brother is amazing. And the only thing
you see why I've been talking about him so much?
Keep it on my head. Okay, how are we going to do this? How are we going to get this? Because I believe when God puts somebody in your life to be a blessing to other, then he's going to also give you the provision and say, okay, now that God gave you the vision, now he's centering people around you to say, okay, let's make it, let's push it through, let's do this, let's do that. And so now my head is spinning, because we were talking earlier about the location. And I'm like, well, you didn't ask me. Yeah, I told Rob. I said,
you told me I didn't ask him.
You didn't ask me about the location.
but bro, he runs so much other stuff. A lot of times you try to save people because they're being pulled in other directions. And we're getting a new building. And he's working on my project. We're working on a documentary together. So sometimes you want to be a person who respects your time and stuff, because everybody else don't.
This is what he said. He said, bro, I didn't bother you because you got to do this. And I'm like, but you could at least ask. But no, it's exciting. And one of the things I love about Robert is a connector. He connects people all over the world. And it's like when somebody that cooks food, and they cook food, and it could be okay. But if Robert get on it and he'll take one. Oh my Jesus! And by the time he finished with it, everybody is calling folks. We got to get that food. We got to get that food. This is how he is about when he was talking about the master class and bringing you to San Diego, and the excitement that he projects has everybody else saying they want to be there. And I believe we could have a really great.
We're gonna have a phenomenal time. We're speaking it right here. Those that are listening from the San Diego and surrounding areas, Dr. Asaph Ward is coming to San Diego. So you stay tuned, and I want you to support. Don't be just talking about it. Be about it.
Yeah, and everybody's on. Lawana Crawford is on.
Yes,
Sonia
she's from
Griffin.
the surrounding area.
Wait a
Sonia
minute.
Griffin.
Lemmy Battle is
My
on.
cousin Lemmy, yes.
Curtis Simmons. We got a lot of the artists and the shakers and breakers in this region. And so, brother, I'm excited. I'm excited just to hear your heart and just to hear the vision. And so now I'm like a kid in a candy shop. Like I said, I'm getting ready to take the master class and see this great brother.
And that'll help you in the Leonarettes.
You know what I'm saying? The vision.
Absolutely.
There's hope.
Absolutely.
There's hope.
Absolutely.
Right.
Yes. You know, I got it from Ray Charles with the Rayettes.
Yeah. No, it makes sense. I make up groups. I be teasing my wife sometime. I'll make up a group I was in, and she's like, "Quit lying! You don't have a group."
Right.
Quit saying, kind of like Martin does with Tommy. You don't got a job.
Right.
Yeah.
And your family sings, right? Because I think a lot of your background parts be your sister and them.
Well, music is just in my family. I have more musicians. I have singers, but my sisters, they sing. But my younger sister, she plays drums still too. But my brothers are class musicians. And we're just a musical family. And again, that's why I train vocalists. My mom used to train vocalists. Mm-hmm. So that's just kind of, what that is. I'm so excited about it, man. I'm so excited about it because the truth is when I went to Brazil to speak over there, and I realized there was a principality keeping me from trying to come over there. I saw that once I was over there, why, and then it was just the fact that when the enemy has deceived, God's people,
come on,
it likes its formula. And when someone comes and disrupts that formula, it's a huge issue. So I'm loving that I get to come against the principalities that these cities have, because you wonder why certain cities don't support each other and don't do this. That's just the work of the enemy. And if we can get our minds out of that and just evolve together, there's so much that can be done. I even have another crazy vision, that just happened since I was on the phone with you guys, that I'm going to actually pray about. In each of these cities that I go to, I believe there is I ain't gonna talk about it.
Yeah,
we'll go offline.
Include us, because I'm always texting you.
Yeah, this is a crazy idea. This is amazing.
But it's nothing. It's nothing too crazy or big for God.
Yeah.
Nothing is. It's just amazing. It has to be done. And the truth of the matter is, everyone has to care, and we all deserve and need. And I heard you say, and you said that. I almost said Leonardette. You're not. Leonardette is not your name. You said something about we weren't taught the relationship with God, and what I've learned during my time with God is that we were taught it. What it is we were taught it, but we didn't get a chance to see it.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
So once I realized that people are watching me now, people have been watching. Mm-hmm. They're watching you. They're watching Robert. They're watching everybody, our pastors and different people. We're looking at people not live what they told us we're supposed to live.
Come on.
And it makes us say, well, if they don't have to do it, I don't have to do it either. And that's how relationship church happens, because we have bad mentors. So I want to be a good mentor, and I don't care about the past. I don't care about anything. What am I doing today?
What am I doing today?
The Bible says tend to the things that of today and let tomorrow take care of itself, because it's enough evil in the day. That just means be your greatest version today. Yeah. Don't worry about yesterday. And that's really what I'm promoting.
And
so
I remember,
so let me
talking about.
I want to say some questions are coming up. El Jerome Battle out of Jacksonville, Florida. How do they connect with you if they want to bring the master class there?
All they have to do is go to Asaph Ward. This is going to probably answer a lot of questions. Asaph, ASAPH WARD When you go to aceofwar.com, you're going to see different tabs, and you're going to see different cities are starting to be added. And then if your city is not there, there is a consultation tab that you can push, and you can explain there that you would like the master class to come to your city, and then we'll go from there.
See,
Okay.
you heard it on God Radio 1.
And then I'm going to ask one last question. In coming into the city, how many hotel rooms do you need when you come in?
One, I mean, at the moment, until production changes, and if I'm adding something else, I only need one. This is me and my wife.
Okay. All right. So yeah, we're really excited. We're gonna definitely want to have you back. We might have to have give him an offer that once a month he can come on and talk about what he want to talk about.
Oh, without a doubt, this is my brother from another mother. We've been connected for quite some time now.
What's the name of his show? I'm gonna talk about what the Lord tell me to talk about.
Right. Yes.
No, actually, I'm starting to. I'm preparing it, but I have an Ace of War behind the curtain.
Okay.
Is what I have, and it's really I'm going to talk about things nobody will talk about.
Okay, that's dope. That's dope. Excited about this. We won't definitely get back with you and have you back on again, but we're gonna take the time now. You got this artist, like I said, it seemed like he worked with all the pretty ones, but I'm like,
but they got to be able to sing though.
Yeah, you got this artist that you said, hey, can we play that and show her video? So I'm gonna flip the screen so that I could bring her up, and if you can introduce, we're gonna end off the whole interview with you introducing her, and then we're gonna play her.
Yes, her name is Sharon Ann. She's she's not a new artist. She's out here doing a lot of great things, and she wrote a song called "Peace Be Still," and it's about dealing with, the inner struggles in your mind. And we did a nice video to it. So it's like the video tells the story better than me explaining it. But her name is Sharon Ann. Please follow her at Miss Sharon Ann. You can follow her there, but she's got a new record that I produced with her out. It's coming out. It's not out yet. It's going to be coming out. We just did the song. So here's the single to it. And we're just getting ready to start servicing it soon. So.
Well, Robert Earl Dean, sign them off.
Ladies and gentlemen, the one and only Mr. Ace of Ward.
And this new artist he's working with, Sharon Ann, the song is called Peace Be Still. I'm going to zoom in so y'all can see this video.